no sex life right now, so there's
Well,
that.
but listen, you adopted a child, so it would be really hard to be having
I
sex
keep thinking
as well
about how I could do it, how I could pull it off. Like,
I don't know, you're
what
gonna
would I
have to either
do?
have a really good friend that you can call up, like a friends with benefits person.
Yeah.
Or you're gonna have to go out. We have to get you out on a date or find you a suitor.
Right, but no, I'm just talking about how I get laid while I have a baby.
It's really tough, but you know what? The thing in your favor, because you adopted a child, is that you don't have to do a shitload of Kegels, so you're not gonna have some lover say to you, can you clench a bit more?
Wait, but I thought Kegels would be like, yay, go more Kegels.
But the problem is when you have a child,
you can't do them.
You can, but you got to do the Kegels to get it all back again.
Oh, right, I see.
You know what I mean? So I think you're in great shape.
I know, I mean, I'm really.
You are ahead of the game, girl.
I'm I'm in such great shape right now to meet a man. I just don't have time.
But you got to get that on your calendar.
I know, I don't have time. And then when I go home, I have my little guy, so.
That's the problem, though. You got to watch out that he doesn't,
I know, I'm not, but you know what, I really think I'm balanced. Like, I really do not think that I'm gonna be obsessive. I'm not interested in smothering him and having, I'm not tunnel visioned about it.
You get an opportunity to raise a boy into a young man that has consciousness, that treats women with respect.
Yeah.
I mean, what an awesome opportunity.
Well, it is kind of interesting to me because truthfully, what the hell am I doing raising a boy? Like, literally have no idea what I'm doing. Did not grow up with boys, except for my father. Everybody in my family there were girls, but it was all girls. And we had matriarchs in our family, you know? So it's very interesting to me that here I am, and I don't have a man in my life right now, so it's very interesting to me that here I am now about to raise this little boy.
Tell me about the adoption story. I would love you to educate me as to what that process looks like as someone who really doesn't know and would love to know.
Many people think that you go and you pick out your baby, like you go shopping in an orphanage.
I mean, I thought that.
Yeah, I know. It's fair.
Thank you.
It's fair enough. Fair enough. You're not alone. People are like, so how did you pick him? Like,
I'll have the one with the blue hat.
Yeah, exactly. We chose each other, but we did. I think I've always known I was going to be a mother, and it took me about a year to do all the paperwork for the adoption. Then I was on a waiting list for 2 years, just waiting to get a referral. So one day I got a call from them, and they said, we have a referral for you, and then they emailed the picture of him. It was just a sort of indescribable thing because really in that moment I was like, oh my gosh, that's my son.
That's him.
It was so strange.
Were you afraid at all?
I wasn't really anxious about it. I just wanted him to be here.
I mean, I was afraid having, not my first kid, I guess, but my second round, I definitely had fear of like, how do I do this? My question, I guess, about adopting as opposed to the almost 9-month process that our bodies go through in carrying a child is that hormonally, our bodies are so smart and they program us to take care of this being, you know? And there's just hormones that are released and all this stuff that helps you connect and bond with your child.
Right. I think because I had familiarized myself with it for so long.
You prepared.
And I talk to people who have adopted, and they all say, you know, and people who have biological children and adopted children, that it's the most crazy thing because you think that you're not going to be able to love that child as much, and then that child becomes your child. And I do very strongly believe that he and I did choose each other. So I think that that's really true with adopted children. And I know that he is my son. And you know, there's just no...
You know, obviously you've adopted your son as a single parent.
Mm-hmm.
What was the process that you went through in deciding to adopt knowing you were at that point a single mom?
Well, I think that's what I was waiting for.
That's brave.
I kept, well, thanks.
It's brave.
You know, after my dad died, I realized that my family was like greatly depleted. And I think I had been waiting to find like my guy that I was going to be, you know, be a partner with, and we were going to have children together and all the things. And so after my dad died, I was like, why am I can do this. I know it's something I want to do in my life no matter what. And I should not wait anymore. And this wasn't necessarily what I wanted. You know, I'm always a little confused because I always think to myself, will we really choose what our life is? And I'm like, well, this doesn't really exactly feel like what I wanted it to be, but this is what it is. And so I really embraced that. And I had to accept that this is the way the road has gone for me.
Was there any part of that was a struggle?
For sure. Yeah, there was a lot of grief about having not started this journey with the man who was going to be my partner. I anticipate finishing it with the man who's going to be my partner, but I definitely had to grieve that. But I also didn't want to wait anymore, and absolutely knew that this was something that I want for my life. So, and I'm really fortunate in my life, and I feel like I can do it.
Yeah.
But I do want to say there are so many women out there who are single moms, really not by choice, and doing it and making it work every day. And you know, I don't know. I think that it's becoming much more a part of our culture, and I just hope that it will become more accepted, and that those women are going to be more and more appreciated and respected and supported in the culture.
I think what you're saying about the support for single mothers is key. You know, as far as I know, and I'm not, again, fully educated on this, but I have a few friends who are single moms. And I have seen that with their work environment, they don't have, you know, support in childcare. There is no allowance for, like, listen, I'm the only person that can take my kid to school. Can I please start work at 9, not 8:30? You know, there's not a lot of leeway given to mothers or fathers, single parents.
I do sometimes get really stunned when I hear about even, you know, sometimes politicians or whatever, there are people who think that children should be taken away from single mothers, you know.
Really?
Yeah.
No, come on.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah, there are people out there who think that single mothers are bad.
I mean, it's crazy. Being with a guy being in any partnership that is no good is way worse than being by yourself.
And by the way, I want to say one other thing. I appreciate what you're saying about, you know, people respecting that I'm doing this as a single mom and all that right now. And I think I'm going to stop using the word single mom.
What are you going to say instead?
I just don't think I'm going to say anything.
Mom.
I'm just a mom.
What is the best piece of advice you've ever been given?
Travel.
What is your biggest vice?
Chocolate.
What is your favorite sex position?
I mean, it depends.
Okay. What would you tell your 14-year-old self?
I would tell my 14-year-old self to hang in there because you'll have sex one day.
And then you might not for a while.
And then I might not for a while, yeah. What would I tell my 40-something-year-old self?
What would you tell your 40-year-old something?
Same thing.
Yeah.
When my parents died, it shifted so that I started meditating and doing all the ritual less and experiencing my life as if it was my spiritual practice more. We're not all meant to be sitting up at the top of a mountain in silence.
Wow.
So now, my spiritual practice is, I literally look at my life as my spiritual practice. That doesn't mean that I live this like pious, like,
No, of course
you know what
not.
I mean? It means that I live a life that's alive and that feels, you know, that feels like something real.
So interesting. I don't own a hairbrush. Right. My daughter has a hairbrush. I don't have a hairbrush.
Except I have the one that I use in the shower.
I use it in the shower with a conditioner and then I leave it.
Yeah.
That's the way, isn't it?
That's all I do.